Hey, what's happening? Tim with Nomad Trading. Time for today's runner recap. I'm going to start out with BNGO. I like to show my trades first off when we get into this. So I'll show what I did today. And then we'll jump into some of the other stocks and look at what was hot, what was moving today. You guys can chat and we can talk about anything that you guys traded, stuff that you were watching. Yeah, should be a good time. Let's see. And don't forget to, of course, hit that like button and subscribe and all the wonderful YouTube algorithm stuff that pushes this out to more people. Thank you guys so much for the support. Pushing 1,900, I think, subscribers, right around there today. So knocking on 2,000's door. I'll be very excited whenever we hit 2,000 subs. Nomad Nation is growing strong. So let's look at BNGO. Like I said, make sure you hit the like button. I gotta get some people in here so we can chat it up. It's more fun whenever there's people in here talking and letting me know what they traded, and we can look at some stuff that you guys are seeing. BNGO pulling back pretty good right now. Was thinking about shorting it up here in that high of day, and I didn't. Now I'm kicking myself. Was looking heavy. Did not. Now it would be more of a bounce. This would be a good spot maybe to take a bounce play off of the 50 moving average and this nice trend line right here. So let's see, as long as we're watching this. Yeah, so we got a decent little trend line. Might be a good spot to take a bounce. It is after hours with fading volume, of course, because we're after hours, but still could be a good spot to take a bounce unless there's some kind of news that I don't know about. And let's see here. Okay, let's jump over here. I'll show you my trades. I'm just getting kind of caught up in watching BNGO pull back and was trying to decide if I wanted to try to take a trade on it on the bounce off of the 50 moving average, but it is currently below our trend line and below the 50. Now it's becoming more of a possible short swing, and I'm trying to decide if maybe I want to be doing that or not. Anyway, my trades for today, let's jump over into that. Today, this is me. So I made 250 bucks today on BNGO. It's the only stock that I did trade today. I was watching several other ones, but the one I liked the best was BNGO because, again, we're trading over 500 million shares today. Insanity. I mean, the volume is just crazy on this thing considering there's not really amazing news. The news is that they got an extension for their NASDAQ compliance, and then it's just gone absolutely nuts for the last several days, basically because it just got enough eyes on it, enough volume on it that it started rotating the float and going crazy. So here we are now up over 1,300% from where it started. If we look down at the daily chart down here, you can see that this stock was down in the 50-cent area a few days ago. So we've gone from around 50 cents. I can, pull it up here. This is the daily chart. So we've got the stock was down here in the 50-cent range, and we're all the way up here over $7 at one point today, a couple times actually, and still at $6. So we're still looking at like 1,200 and some percent up over the past week or so. It's just insane. Anyway, so what did I trade? Let's look. Let me get that back over here. I was showing that. So I did make $250 today, a little better day. My goal is $100 a day, so I more than doubled my goal, so that's a pretty good day. I actually could have made more, of course, but played it somewhat safe. And I was all on BNGO. Let me pull over here. I'll show you my entry and exit. Let me see. Now this is my CMEG chart, and it shows my entry and exit. So I shorted it at the high of day resistance right here. This red triangle right here shows you my entry, which was my short, 500 shares, as it says. It's trying to say it anyway. 500 shares at, I don't know why it's not. Come on, you silly thing. 500 shares at 686, I believe it was. Yeah, there it is. 500 shares at 686, right at this high of day resistance, and worked perfectly. Shorted it down here to the 50 moving average, which is this dark blue line right here, and you can see my little blue arrow here. That's my exit. That's where I bought to cover, which was at 636. So 50 cents a share, perfect, just little scalp. That was what I did today. So anyway, today that was my only trade of the day. I was also watching several other stocks, which we'll talk about. Nobody really in here. Come on, YouTube algorithm, push my live out so we can get some people chatting it up in here. Let's see. We had another one, CHEK. This one I was looking to short right here because it made its high right here, a new high, but then pulled back pretty significantly. Came back up, and then I was looking to short it there, but I did not. It looked weak. It looked like it might come down, but then I was focused on BNGO. It ended up coming back down and bouncing, kind of following the 50 moving average, and then ended up going up for a pretty decent little gain there, but not a setup that I typically would be playing. So no trades on that, but as you can see, up big on the day, 176% up as of right now on the day. And if we look down here on the daily chart, we can see that there's quite a bit of blue sky. We have to zoom out a bit more to get to some of the resistance area. So we had a gap down there that was filled. We talk about gap fills almost every day. So here's another example of a gap, and then it was filled right here. Continued to fade and curl up, and then today had a very nice move. Excuse me. I'm not sure what the news was on this, if there was news or not. That's another reason I was thinking about shorting it, because I didn't see readily available news. But traded 329 million shares as of right now, so big volume on this one as well. But just not as good of opportunities as far as setups go. Now it's kind of pulled back to VWAP. I wonder if the overall market is pulling back, if that's why we're seeing several of these pulling back right now. No, not really. Not really. The overall market was down quite a bit, though. If we look at the daily chart, this is SPY ETF, S&P ETF, which gives you a pretty good gauge of the overall market. And as you can see, big red day today. It's pulled up a little bit from where it was, but still nice big red pullback day on the overall market. So that might be why we didn't see as many stocks really flying, but there were a few. Let's see, I want to check what BNGO is actually doing right now. So it did break below my trend line. It did break below the 50, but it's bounced back above that now. So now would be, again, it might be a time to short, because it did break down those levels that I was watching. It broke through that trend line. Trend line, by the way, there's no exact science to it. I draw trend lines all the time, and the best ones, of course, are whenever they've held up multiple times and you can start to see them kind of develop, like this one perhaps, has bounced off that line 3 times, and then this would be the 4th time if it ends up holding up and going up from here. But to me, looks more like a short. Maybe I'm going to guess that it might bounce just a little bit more, and then I would be looking to possibly short it. Sooner or later, this stock's going to turn and come back down to reality. So it could be a very good swing to the short side, but you definitely have to keep your stop loss in there and be trading it fairly tight, because you don't know how high it can go with the kind of volume that it's been getting. And yesterday's move, not yesterday, but Friday's move, you can see after hours it had a big move. So definitely dangerous to be shorting it, but anyway. That's the one that I'm watching right now. Sorry, my runner recap has been kind of sidetracked now, because I've just been watching this and kind of looking at it to see. Now it's doing what I was thinking it might do, which just a second ago I was talking about. It might pop up a little bit and then might be a good spot to short. But like I said, definitely play it very safe. Ooh, now we're getting a little bit more. That was actually a bigger move than I anticipated right there with that one candle. So I don't know. It's one of those, it doesn't have a direct for sure thing set up going on. But again, if we look at the trend, if we kind of draw our trend line here, we can see that even if you, depending on if you start it down here or start it up here, wherever you want to start it at, it's definitely broken below that trend line. So when you've broken below the trend line and broke below the 200 moving average, which is this white line, that could mean that the stock is finally starting to turn after all these green days over here and big gap ups. Perhaps it's going to start turning, but it doesn't mean anything for certain, because you could definitely see it end up coming back up and testing the high of day and breaking out. You never know for sure. It's just about probabilities and kind of learning to read the market and see things as they develop. And if I was going to guess, I would say right in here might be a spot to perhaps short and maybe swing it. I don't like swinging overnight short myself, but that's just because I've been burned too many times. What's up, Mr. X? Finally got somebody in the chat. Pretty excited about that. It's a little slower today. Usually I got, 13, 15, 20 people watching at any given time on these live chats, and only 3 right now. So I don't know. Slower trading day, or YouTube just doesn't like me today. I don't know. Some other stocks. Let's see. We talked about CHEK. Let's talk about JAGX, JAGX. This is one that we see move quite a bit. And yeah, I kind of wish I would have been watching this a few minutes ago, because it's kind of breaking out, getting up there. Would have been a nice breakout past this point. This one is a former runner. I've seen it many times. It pops up on the scanners and screeners all the time, because it's just one of those stocks that's moves, has quite a bit of volatility, I guess is the best way to say it. And so it's moving up and down quite a bit to where it hits the scanners a lot. As of right now, no trade on it at the moment, because let's see if we zoom out. Is there any resistance that's coming up on? Perhaps if we zoom out quite a bit, I guess there would be. But maybe starting to curl. So maybe this could be one that would be a decent swing to the long side. Don't be chasing it and buying it at the right here at the moment. Because it looks pretty extended. If we look at this move here, it's looking pretty extended, so I'm not sure I'd be buying it up here. But on the daily chart, it looks like perhaps it could be a swing. The stock was in the 10s and teens and 20s even a while back, so about a year ago. So maybe it'll be a swing. Maybe it'll keep curling. We'll see. I don't swing, but I'm thinking about starting to try to do it a little more. It's another area that I would like to get good at. Then we got, anyway, as far as today goes, it jumped out of the gate, and then it formed my favorite pattern here, this little bitty bull pennant, and then it moved up farther. Then it came back down a little more than I would like, but it did somewhat hold VWAP and then take off again. So the best opportunity for this one would have been the breakout past the previous high, right in this area of 119, 120, right around there. As soon as it broke out past this level, the previous high, that would have been a spot to go long, and I would have been scalping it from 120 up into this first dip here, 135 or so. So you could have made a decent amount percentage-wise per share. And then if you had the cojones to do it, you could have kept holding it, and now you'd really be up. So big day today, up 139% as of right now. But again, like I said, pretty overextended. Not sure I'd want to be buying it up here at this point. Let's see, over in the chat. You should go live every day during pre-market sessions so you'll have more followers. You've got a good YouTube channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that. And maybe I will do that. I don't have a scanner right now. I think I'm going to actually break down and pay for trade ideas, because I think that's what E-Trade scanner was based around. That's what somebody had told me in the comments, and I've seen that from a few other people, that Trade Ideas was the foundation for the E-Trade scanner that I liked, that I could customize. So I think I'm going to end up paying for that. And yeah, that's why I haven't. I thought about going back and forth with the idea of streaming pre-market and even streaming my trades throughout the day, but not having a scanner really hampers that, because I'm, jumping around trying to find the stocks that are moving, and I just don't feel as confident with that. And it wouldn't be as good to watch, because I'm having a hard enough time tracking down the stocks that are moving and then looking for setups and placing trades without the added pressure of everyone watching me. But I definitely may consider it, especially if I go ahead and get trade ideas, and then I can, be streaming my scanner and have that on one screen while I'm working on the other screen. You probably all saw my update video about E-Trade. They finally let everybody know that they're getting rid of the scanner. Obviously, thanks for the email days and days and days, if not weeks late, because we already know that. Most people have already lost the scanner, and then they finally sent an email out saying that they're trying to streamline it over there to Power E-Trade. But they did say that they're working on some possible updates to the one on Power E-Trade, and that it might be customizable soon. So maybe that'll work, and that will be just as good, and I won't have to pay for trade ideas if Power E-Trade ends up having a good scanner. Ideally, they would put it on Pro, since that's their professional platform, and then I could use it down here on the same screen. But at least if they do it with Power, it would still be included with my broker that I already have, instead of having to pay a separate person for it. But anyway. Had any trades today? Are you asking me if I did, Mr. X? And did you have any trades, Mr. X? You're using FinViz for scanner. You pay $35 a month. Is it pretty good and customizable? I use FinViz as a screener. Maybe I should look into that. Red $3 today. So yeah, Mr. X, I covered it right in the beginning. I'll go ahead and show you real quick though. My trade on the day, only traded once. Now I'm look at it coming down even more. Again, I thought it would be a good short at that 670 range, and man, that would have been perfect. So earlier in this live stream, I was talking about that I thought that once it broke that trend line and the 50 moving average, once it came up and bounced, it would have been a good spot to go short. But dang it, it's happening after hours, and I don't want to hold it overnight, especially short, because that's burned me so bad in the past. But turns out that it would have worked. I'd already be up 30 cents a share as of right now. So it would have worked as a quick scalp, but what I'm really thinking is that it might be the turning point, and we might end up starting to see the downside and be a really good short swing for anybody who likes to do that, but we'll see. So yeah, my trade's Mr. X. Let me show you. Here's me. I was up 250 on the day. This is my realized profit, so I made 250. It's kind of weird that it was exactly $250 whenever I bought into that and closed the trade out. I was like, wow, 250 even. That's kind of odd, but okay. Sometimes that happens. So yeah, I ended up $250 up on the day. I did not trade the E-Trade account, just a CMEG account. I can actually show you my chart with my entries and exits. Let me pull it up over here. I think it was this one. No, that one doesn't have it. Where is my chart with the entry? There it is. Okay, yeah. So here's my chart with entries and exits. This is my entry. I went short at the high of day resistance, because over here you can see this is the high of day before it pulled back. So then as it curled back up and was testing that high of day, it looked heavy. So I got 500 shares short. That's what's popping up there. You can see 500 shares at 686. And I scalped it down to the 50 moving average, which is hard to see on this chart because it's blue. I like to change my colors so it's kind of blending in, but there's a dark blue line there. That's the 50 moving average. I wanted to scalp it from high of day to the pullback down to the 50 moving average. So I covered there right at the 50 at 636. So 49 cents a share, almost 50 cents a share scalp, 500 shares. So that's where the $250 happened. Just that one trade. So worked out perfectly, and then it ended up bouncing off that. So I was glad that I got out and didn't keep holding. And now we're back testing that area again. And yeah, I'm really wishing I had, when I was talking about this live just a little bit ago, shortened this in the 670s. I wish I would have done that. Because now it's again, it's below the trend line, below the 50. It's very possibly going to start being the turn that breaks down this big move. Might end up seeing a dollar or more a share, maybe even a couple if it kept going. It could be a decent swing to the short side. But anyway, yeah. For some reason, YouTube has been showing me lately that you're live for the recap. Showing you late. Yeah, YouTube is, I don't know what the deal is with YouTube. They're so, for being such a gigantic corporation, you know, such a huge platform, it's awful glitchy. I mean, all the time with my analytics, which is kind of like the backside of, you know, what you guys don't see, the analytics from the creator side. I see all kinds of weird glitches and things and stuff where it'll tell me that they're in the process of updating the information, or there's been an error in the information. Wait for an update on your views and subscriber counts, and I won't get any subscribers, you know, for like a day or two, and then all of a sudden it'll jump up by like 20 subs, almost, you know, stuff like that. I don't know. It's kind of glitchy. So yeah, and also I see the same stuff because there's some people that I'm subscribed to that post videos that I don't even get the notifications, even though the bell is on. I won't get the notification on it, and sometimes I'll watch it and be done with the video hours later, and then the notification will pop up and show me that they have a new video that I've already seen, and I don't know. Get your stuff together, YouTube. Yeah, it could be. It could be why. I don't know. Usually I've got yeah, usually there's 15 to 20 people coming and going on these live streams, and right now I've only got 2 likes and only 5 viewers, so it's a lot lower today. Don't know. Maybe there's just less people watching the markets. I don't know. Or maybe it's YouTube and their algorithm and all that. That's the thing about YouTube. People that make a living from YouTube, it's so iffy. Like it just seems like there's a little bit of magic voodoo. Like my top video that's got 40 some thousand views, I didn't do anything different for that one than I have any other video. So it's kind of weird that that one has so many more views than any other video, when it's probably the one that I did the least amount of work on as far as SEO and search engine optimization and trying to get it more views. I did less with that one because it was like my first video, and somehow it took off and has accounted for almost half my total views. So I don't know. YouTube's just crazy like that, I guess. So anyway, let's see. What else was... I'm getting sidetracked here. I apologize. TRXC was another one. This one looking pretty good at the moment. Just following this beautiful trend line right here. Still holding up. It looks like it might have broke down just a little bit there. We'll see if it can keep going. Kind of looking like it might be a spot where we might see it turn and head back down to $1 or so. But we'll see. It is after hours. After hours is a little different. And anyway, as far as opportunities though, not very good setups. Maybe you could have taken a bounce off of VWAP right here if you were looking for long setups, but not a whole lot of, it's just not very clean. And that's why stocks that are cheaper, that are under $1, I don't end up trading them very often. This one, of course, is over $1 now, but I mean, this morning it was under $1. And that's because I don't trade them very often because they don't behave exactly the same as the stocks that are in that $2, $3, $4, or $5 range. When you see those really moving and having a lot of volume, they become quite a bit more predictable on their patterns and they're more clean. These ones that are lower priced, for whatever reason, don't end up seeming as clean as far as the setups go, and you get a lot more wicks, and it's just, I don't know, a lot more choppy. The setups, again, aren't as clean for whatever reason, so I don't trade them as often. Let's see. So not a lot of opportunities as far as like good solid setups, which is what I'm looking for on that. NCTY was another one. This one, not as good either. There's just not all that many great setups today. This one, as you can see, is kind of choppy. It rockets up through VWAP and comes up here, but then fades right back down. It kind of comes up and double tops and then fades again, but overall kind of a curling motion here. So don't know what's going on with that. It looks like it says that the news is that they're setting up cryptocurrencies business. So it's kind of like playing on the Bitcoin hype. Bitcoin's been going crazy. And it looks like they're basically playing off that Bitcoin hype. So probably some fluffy news, and this thing probably comes back down, would be my guess. I'm going to jump over here. 3 likes you see. See, I only see 2 likes. Weird. YouTube's just weird like that. It's so weird. What else do we got here? I know there was SNDL was closing strong. A friend of mine in the group chat I'm in talked about that, and it's looking nice. Kind of a cup and handle. If we look at this, it's a bit of a cup and then a handle, and then the breakout would be right here. So pretty clean, good spot to go along here. Again, I don't love stocks that are under $1, but it's a pretty decent, clean setup as it made its cup and handle and broke out past that. It'd be a decent spot to go along. So can't hate on that. Now I'm going to guess that it's probably going to fade back down unless there's some kind of news that I don't know about. On the daily chart, yeah, kind of curling up. So might not be a bad swing to the long side. We'll see. But I don't know what news it has. It looks like Canadian Cannabis Company. So let's see. Canadian Cannabis Company, Sundial, acquires them. Acquires special purpose vehicle for $46 million. Okay, so they've acquired some other company, basically. But that's not today. That news is 5 days old, so I don't know if it's still running on that news or what's going on with it. But it could end up being a decent swing. We do have tomorrow is the Georgia runoffs, so maybe this is going because of that. If people believe that Democrats are going to get control of the Senate, that maybe marijuana will be legalized countrywide on a recreational level. So could be running because of that. What else did we have? Pull up my little handy dandy. This is the screener I use on Market Watch with my criteria. I use this quite a bit to see what all's moving. SLCA was one that I kept seeing, and OCGN. So we'll look at those. OCGN looks like it was a big gap up. This thing's been running for several days. It was down here in 30-cent area a few days ago, and then now it's all the way up over $3. So today, however, not very good setups. Gap up, nice big gap up, but then nothing but a short the whole day. Didn't see anywhere that I would be looking to enter long. No setups whatsoever. So it does have the volume, and it is up over several days. But today, as far as today goes, it would have been just a good short. Let's look at the daily. So yeah, look at that. So we got a huge move from, right now we're looking at 5-minute chart on a 14-day time frame. So we can actually zoom in just a little bit and go, to a 10-day time frame. So this was only about 30 cents as of December 22nd, 21st. Yeah, 21st. So it goes all the way up over $3, pulls back, and then it forms somewhat of a giant bull pennant here. If you, again, I know that I talk about this pattern a lot, but it's because you just see it over and over and over again on all these different time frames. So if you got your pull there, and then you got your the top of your pennant there, and you got your bottom of your pennant here, the consolidation gets tighter and tighter, and then it jumps up. I'm guessing there was some news. Let's see, some kind of news. I'm not really seeing it here, but I know there was. I know there was news. Somebody in the group chat I'm in was talking about the news. But anyway, whatever the news was, it caused it to gap up. So this one, unfortunately, wouldn't have been a very good opportunity to get in because it ended up happening like over the weekend. But still, I'm just saying. My favorite little pattern there played out again. You got a bull pennant and then boom, jumps up big. So that's pretty cool. What else did we have? What was the other one I was going to look at? SLCA. I haven't looked at this one all day, but it was popping up on the scanners. So let's see if I missed anything. Yeah, so on the daily down here, it looks like we had a nice breakout a few days ago. You could kind of form a little bit of a cup and handle situation here, or maybe this little cup and handle here, and it runs up. But anyway, broke out past previous resistance a few days ago, and then today has broken out again. Let's zoom in and look at today. So yeah, you got a nice flagpole, and then again, somewhat of that pennant type pattern, and then it breaks out, goes up nicely, nice big move up, pulls back down to VWAP. So then you could have done a nice VWAP bounce, would have been a good play here. Let me switch to crosshairs. So you could have bought it around $8 because you got the whole dollar at $8. You got the whole dollar possible support, and you got the VWAP support, and you got coming up on the previous high of day as possible support. So that would have been a good spot to try to make a bounce play to the long side. And then I would have probably been taking part or all of my profit at the previous high of day here. But I would have been very conservative because it ended up continuing on almost a dollar. So pulled back hard, back below VWAP, and then recovers that entire downside right there. So that's a pretty killer move right here. We have a big pullback all the way back down from almost $9 all the way down to below VWAP, but then it recovers it all. So that's interesting. Kind of an odd move. Not really something that I would have traded because, again, it's not much of a setup. The setup would have been back here or possibly the bounce off of VWAP. So not really much of a setup, but just an interesting move that it did that. And then here we have it again pulling back and then recovering again. So apparently this stock has a nice tendency to recover, which is cool. Maybe it will get another drop and another recover, and then you can see we're kind of consolidating, and then we'll be looking to see, does this come down hard or will it continue up? moving a little, but it came down already. Oh yeah. Check that one out too. I like looking at anything that's moving. I just love the stock market, so I just love looking at pretty much anything. So if you guys have anything you want to look at or stocks that you traded, throw them in the chat. Let's look at them. It's fun to kind of see what opportunities there were and how things move. This is the one that was moving like crazy the other day. Oh, what day was that? Was that this right here? For some reason I was thinking, there it is. Okay. Yeah, that's the move I was talking about. We were looking at this in the live runner recap on this day. We were talking about it. It might have been you that even brought it up, Mr. X. Was it you that brought it up that day in after hours? And yeah, it had this big move where it doubled. It went up over 100% from 3s to over 6. Pulled back. I thought it would end up fading all the way back because there was no news that anybody could find. So then it ends up the next day gapping up and then going all the way up here to over $14 a share. Then it got halted and it ended up being a long halt while the company came out and let everybody know that they had no idea why their stock was up hundreds of percents at that point. So anyway, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. That's pretty cool. Okay, well, if anybody's got anything else, we can talk about it. We're pushing 40 minutes, so I'm going to jump off of here. And yeah, I think we've talked about all the hot movers of the day and anything that I saw anyway. So thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great evening, and I will see you in here tomorrow.